Hello folks, this is Solo speaking. You're listening to another video for Teamfight Tactics. This is actually taken from a solo game, believe it or not, a rare game that is not a double up game. We're actually traveling right now out of town, and I did this one a little bit late at night, so I'm just playing solo here. In this game, we're going to look at a Fated team composition. I've actually played a good bit of Fated, but I'm not sure that I've really featured it in a video up to this point in time. So we're going to look at some of the Fated champions, and we're going to see if we can feature Aphelios in this video. Okay, so here on the initial starting, well, I was going to say initial starting carousel, but we don't have them anymore. We have portals. I didn't love any of these options. I was hoping to take gold subscription as the least impactful, but it looks like everybody else wants to play Scuttle Puddle, and that's what we're going to end up getting. A little bit unsurprising. I think we're at the point where these portals have scaled up so much that I'm kind of like, oh, phew, it's only Scuttle Puddle extra loot. It's not Crab Rave, which is Scuttle Puddle with even more loot than you would get normally from Scuttle Puddle. So we're all going to have our economies accelerated in this game, which is what you'd expect from most of these portals because they're all loot fiestas now. Alright, anyway, so I was trying to figure out what I wanted to play going into this game. I did not initially think that I was going to be playing a Fated team composition. I was actually trying to test out some of the things that have been more popular here. This is the first full patch of Set 11, not the release version, the first full patch. And I was hoping to test out some of the builds that are popular here, one of them being the Heavenly plus Yone reroll team composition. They actually hotfix nerfed that, but it's still very playable. I actually have some of the pieces for it. I have the early Heavenly unit, so if I would get an early Yone to drop, I could certainly look to play that. I also still am trying to get some footage to play a team composition that is based around the Senna reroll, which is also quite strong. And I've been trying to get some footage of that one as well. But you really want to find at least one Senna in the early game if you're going to play that. So I don't quite have the pieces for either of them. I kind of have like parts of what you would want to play them, but I don't really have the full setup for playing them. So I'm just still definitely trying to figure out here what I'm going to do. And after I started getting a bunch of these duelist units, I was like, maybe I could play duelists here. Now, generally, you don't want to play a duelist game unless you would get dropped either a Tristana or a Volibear. One of the two of them is kind of what you would want to see if you're going to be looking to play into duelists. But I do have 2 out of 3 Yasuos. I do have 2 out of 3 Dariuses. So I'm kind of hitting these units. I also really want to get to 10 gold here if I can. And I am able to do so. Anytime you get Scuttle Puddle or Crab Rave, you'd like to get to 10 gold here. And if you're wondering why these initial rounds are taking forever, it's because one of these people is playing only 1 unit on their board, so they can get up to 20 gold. It's because it takes forever to kill the little crabs when you only have 1 unit on their board. It's that person Oats Milk over there. And yes, they are dragging this out for the entire lobby. Congratulations. I'm so glad that we have this portal. But yes, they did get to 20 gold there, which was their goal. Alrighty, so options here. I do often like taking Slammin'. You gain a component, and then as long as there's no components on your bench, you gain 2 XP each round, but ultimately I decided not to take that. I actually do have a decent opener for Story Weaver, but I actually then sold all my Story Weaver units, so I don't think it's that. I end up taking this Martyr. Whenever one of your allies die, your team heals for 9% of their max health. It's actually a very good augment for the late game. It's actually pretty bad for the early game, though. It's not particularly good for the early game. So this is something that's going to scale well into when we all have like 7, 8, 9 units on our board. But for right now, when you only have like 3 units on your board, this doesn't really do a whole lot. So it's not a great one to play, and I would prefer not to take this for the early game if possible. So anyway, I don't really know what I'm going to play here, but the one thing I do have is some duelist units. So I was like, okay, maybe I'll look to play duelist then, I guess. I didn't really have a great sense. I was like, all right, well, if I'm going to do that, I definitely would want to make a Titan's Resolve, because that would be really good on Volibear later on. So I go ahead and make that, and I just stuff it on Malphite for right now with the intention that it's going to move to a different unit later on. I kind of made that late in the fight, so it didn't really do anything in this particular round, but it looks like I will win this first fight at least, so that's good. And we'll go from there. And now I haven't had a good chance to go through and scout the lobby yet, so I do need to take a minute to see what other people are playing. One person has a altruist crest there, and I'm going through, and then I was like, oh, this is not what I want. Someone has a duelist emblem. As soon as I see this, I'm like, Ugh, don't think I'm going to be able to play Duelist in this lobby. Well, anyway, I'm looking here and like, all your 3-cost units gain attack speed and extra health. I was like, I think I'm going to be rerolling for something that's 3-cost because that's what like everyone's doing in this patch is rerolling for 3-cost units. So I just take the option that's going to mean that 3-cost units are stronger. But once I do this, I'm now committed to playing something that's 3-cost. So at this point, I was like, I was kind of thinking Duelist, but now I'm not so sure if I want to play Duelist at all. Now I'm not sure if this is the right decision at all because I'm going to be contested on Tristanas and Volibears, and there's really not enough of these units for 2 people to play the comp. I mean, I guess they can play them if they're only looking to 2-star, but if you're looking to 3-star, 2 people can't play the comp. And Duelists are only kind of like middling as a comp right now. They're playable, definitely, but they're definitely not that strong. So I was like, like I don't have any Trist, I don't have any Volibears and I'm playing into something that's contested, and the other person has a duelist emblem, and I have nothing like that. I don't think that's the right direction. So at this point, I'm like, ooh, I really don't know what I'm going to do here. The stuff I was looking to play is now going to be contested, and I'm going to have to find a different route to play in this game because what I was thinking is not going to be it in this one, and I really don't have much of anything right now for my board. I have a Titan's Resolve and a somewhat decent economy, but then I see this, then I see that there's an Aphelios. There's also a Senna, by the way, so if I had the better pieces for that, I actually would pivot into the Senna here, but I was looking around and I thought one of these other players was going to end up going for Senna reroll. It turns out that they actually did not, but I thought this person was Ink Shadow and Heavenly Emblems. I was like, okay, they have Ink Shadow and Heavenly Emblems. They have a Caitlyn on their board. That person's 100% going to play into this. So I thought for sure they were going to go for Senna reroll. It actually turns out they don't, but that was the direction I thought they were going to go. So that's why I didn't pick up the Senna, even though I actually really want to try this at some point. But like I don't have any ghostly units on my board at all, so it's not like I really have the pieces to play Senna reroll. Hopefully another game I'll be able to put that together and get a chance to see what it looks like. So anyway, I find the Aphelios, and that's the direction I need for my game. I was like, okay, I don't think anyone's playing Aphelios this game. Aphelios is a 3-cost unit. He's a 3-cost, what is he? He's Sniper plus Faded. So I'm going to look to play through this unit, and we're going to play an Aphelios-based game here. That is the goal. But yeah, you can see my board is actually pretty weak right now, and I really do need to reconfigure it because I don't really have much of anything right now. Alrighty, so I do have second pick here on the carousel, so that's not that bad. I can definitely look to take something here. I'm looking around, looking around, looking around, and I was like, not exactly sure, but you know what? Why don't I go ahead and grab this Kindred? And by taking this Kindred, that will at least put Faded trait in play. It's going to give me a glove. I already have a glove. Could always be a Thief's Glove, but I think I might be able to make better items than that with it. If I could get like a sword and a bow, I could always do like Last Whisper plus Infinity Edge, which is always good on auto attack based champs. And then I do hit the 2-star Yasuo as well. So okay, starting to make a little bit more progress there. Let's get the Malphite off the board. We'll put in the Aphelios, and then we'll put in the Kindred. That's going to put Faded in play. I will hold the Kha'Zix for the moment because that makes Reaper trait. And then I'm going to go ahead and pair together the Yasuo together with the Aphelios for right now. So this is how Faded trait works. While we've got a second here, since it's a Faded game, let's back up and talk a little bit about how this trait functions. I do think it's a very interestingly designed trait. I think it's one of the better designed traits in the set. Basically, every Faded unit has their own particular bonus, and you can pick which one of the Faded bonuses you want to have into effect. Really, which 2 Faded bonuses you have in effect. Here's the official description. Hover one Faded unit over another to form a pair and unlock a Faded bonus. Your pair gains 20% HP. So at Faded 3, the 2 units that are paired get the Faded bonus. Then as you play deeper into the trait, all Faded champions get that bonus, and they get it at higher percentages. So for example, at Faded 5, all Faded champions get that bonus at double benefit, and then at Faded 7, all Faded champions get that at triple benefit. It says 300%, but it's triple benefit. A little bit easier thinking of it that way. And every Faded champion has their own unique bonus as far as what they provide to the rest of the team. Oh, also this when Kabuto invites you to dance with him, the more people join him, the better the reward. I just think these encounters are really dumb. Like the Elune one is kind of interesting, although if you're playing a 1-cost reroll, then I guess you're just screwed if that one pops up. This one is it's just more free loot. There's so much free loot in this game. It's really absurd how much free loot. So we get 3 component anvils for this. Yep, 3 component anvils. This is going to turn out okay for me because it's going to allow me to itemize Aphelios. So I'm going to go ahead make the Infinity Edge. And then there's a bow here, so we'll go ahead and make Last Whisper. Aphelios is like the only unit of mine that's not terrible right now, so I'm definitely going to try to play through this unit. So it's like, all right, Infinity Heads, Last Whisper, another bow, maybe we can get a Rage Blade there. That's looking good, and that's my hope right now is we're just going to work through this unit. Anyway, to get back to my Fated point, though, every Fated unit has their own bonus, and yes, this person is running apparently running Aphelios over there on their Duelist board. Hopefully they're not going to run that unit for too long. Anyway, they all have their own unique bonus. Right now I have Yasuo paired with Aphelios. Yasuo's bonus is he provides a shield that's his fated bonus is you get a shield. Aphelios' bonus is attack speed. The other unit that I have on my board who's a fated unit is Kindred. And what exactly is Kindred's bonus? No one ever uses this one. The fated bonus is attack speed. What is Aphelios' bonus then? His bonus is attack damage. Oh, huh. I thought that Aphelios' was attack speed. Interesting. Apparently Kindred's is attack speed. Well, I did not know that. Okay. Well, Aphelios' bonus is that he apparently gives extra attack damage. I did not realize that. Anyway, so the way that this works is some of these bonuses are better at different points in time in the game. So, for example, the Yasuo bonus is a flat shield, so it's strong in the beginning of the game, but the value of it falls off pretty hard as the game goes on, because the value of getting a shield is just better early in the game and not so good later on in the game, just because damage gets so much higher as the game goes on. By the way, look at all this disgusting loot. Again, you just get so much loot on these Scuttle Crab portals. So yeah, Yasuo's bonus is a 300 shield. Like, a 300 shield is really good at the start of the game, but by the end of the game, a 300 shield is like nothing. So there's other bonuses that are better. But I'll take advantage of the Yasuo shield bonus for the moment. Anyway, I did get a bunch of AP items here, so I'm trying to figure out what I'm going to do with these items right now. I could potentially make a Rage Blade on Aphelios, and I do want to make that item on Aphelios if I can, but I also have this rod here, and I'm like, I could maybe make maybe I could look to itemize this Alloon for the moment, because it does put Umbral trait in play temporarily. I could have this person hold items for hopefully a potential Syndra. Yeah, so I go ahead and make the Giant Slayer. I think that's going to have good synergy later on in the game, and that's going to allow me to make the Jeweled Gauntlet, and then also hopefully a blue buff later on. I could put this tier on Alloon. Might as well, there's really no reason not to. I can go ahead and put that on Alloon, and then hopefully that's half of a blue buff for Syndra later on. Definitely going to pick up the Fated units, and Syndra's still a good unit. She was very overtuned on the PvE, and I guess I did do a video with Syndra on the public beta environment, I think, at some point. But I don't think I've talked about Fated ever since it came out on the actual live client, where Syndra was kind of brought more in line. I think she was very overtuned during the testing period at one point. All right, anyway, so now it's time to go ahead and pick our second augment here. I took a generic augment for the first one. I'm looking to see if there's anything that's particularly Fated attuned here, and I'm not really seeing that, so I'm just going to keep looking at my options here. I don't think it's too healthy. I don't think it's shock treatment, so I'll take Know Your Enemy. Your team does 10% more damage, which is not great, but you end up getting a higher benefit if they have any of your traits in play. 15% if any of your traits are being run by the other team. Fortunately, Fated is going to have a decent number of traits in play that other teams are playing. Now, even if they're not playing Fated themselves, as long as I'm playing a trait like, what is it? I think the Duelist is definitely being played out there. This board over here has Umbral trait, so that's going to be in play. I'm hoping if I can maybe get like Warden trait in play. A lot of people are going to have Warden in trait in play. If I can get a Behemoth trait, a lot of people are going to have Behemoth trait in play. Like, generic frontline traits tend to be pretty good. I don't think Reaper is going to be played by that many people. That's more of a specialized trait, but we'll see. I think I can get some of these traits in play and get that 15% bonus as opposed to that 10% bonus. Anyway, this is the win streaking player in the lobby. My board is mostly 1 star, so I'm not surprised that I'm losing to this. It's reasonably close, and that's a good sign because, as I said, my board is all 1 stars. I did go ahead and toss in Kayn on the board temporarily. Just Kayn was going to be better than Kha'Zix as far as giving Reaper trait. And then, oh, well, look at this shop. This is a magnificent shop. I'm going to get the Syndra, and I'm also going to get Thresh as well. And like, these are the units I want to run. So I was like, okay, well, let's get the Darius off the board. Darius 2-star is, fine, but Darius really didn't have any traits in play. I guess he had Umbral trait. So the Know Your Enemy, not going to do so much right now. 5 Fated, 2 Reaper. I definitely don't have a lot of traits in play, but I can fill out my trait synergies as the game goes on. This is fine for right now. And now I'm going to rebond here because I'm going to get the Thresh bonus in play instead of the Yasuo bonus. Thresh's bonus is everyone on the team gets armor and magic resistance, and this is generally seen as being the best one of the benefits to get via Fated trait. Giving everyone on the team armor and magic resistance is really, really nice. Now, they've actually nerfed the amount of armor and MR you get several times. I believe on the testing environment when this first came out, he gave 25 armor and 25 magic resistance. It's been nerfed down to 18 of each. And those nerfs are pretty significant because, by the way, as Aphelios narrowly loses this one, those nerfs are significant because remember, at higher tiers of Fated, that benefit gets doubled or tripled. I have Fated 5 in now, so that benefit gets doubled. Instead of getting 18 armor and MR, I get 36 armor and MR. And then I guess I get 50 AD instead of 25 AD from the Aphelios. I guess that makes sense. He's the main unit I'm playing through. Anyway, now it's time to go ahead and pick. I was going to take the tier, but then that gets snapped up. So I was like, all right, I guess I really do need to take a frontline item. I've been delaying the frontline items on Thresh. And he's definitely going to need some frontline items. So we'll get this, and this will build into some kind of tank item later on. I do still have the Titans. The Titans can go on Thresh as well, but for right now it's on Kayn because Kayn is in there as like a synergy bot. But I think Kayn will ultimately get replaced as well. Anyway, now I am almost level 7, and my goal is to get to level 7, and then I think I want to just stay on level 7 for a little while. That is this patch. This is a reroll patch. Everybody's rerolling for something. And Fated units, or Fated team compositions have something to reroll for as well. And that is you reroll for Aphelios, and you reroll for Thresh. Those are the two units. They're both 3 costs. Thresh is Fated plus Behemoth, and then the Aphelios is Fated plus Sniper. So you reroll for those units, and they're kind of the core of the team composition is rerolling for the pair of them. The good news is no one else is going for either of these units. So because they're uncontested and because there's so many 3 costs being taken out of the pool, I think I have decent odds to try to 3-star them. But that's the hope anyway. Martyr's giving me decent value in this fight. We actually get a lot of units low, but we don't actually kill anything. And again, this makes sense because my board is all 1-stars. Like, look at my board. I have 1-star Thresh, 1-star Kayn, 1-star Kindred, 1-star Syndra, 1-star Aphelios. I do manage to find an Ahri there, so that's something. That'll at least put Arcanist trait in play, and a decent number of people probably have at least 2 Arcanist on their board. So know your enemy, getting a little bit of extra value. One nice thing about Fated trait is it does have an internal synergy in Arcanist. There are 2 Fated plus Arcanist units, Ahri and Syndra, so they are typically going to be played together. I would have probably picked up Ahri's earlier in the game, but remember, I didn't know I was going to be playing Fated until a little bit later on. So anyway, now we're level 7, and if I can just 2-star my board, I think it'll be in reasonably good shape. I actually do have very good items here. Aphelios' itemization is pretty great. I'm very happy with what he has here. Infinity Edge Last Whisper always has great synergy, good for cutting through tanks. And the Giant Slayer is going to scale well into the late game. By the way, does Ahri have this? Does she kill the Silas? And yes, apparently she actually does. Although I probably might have been better to go on a big losing streak into the minion stage there. If I'm being completely honest, it might have been actually better to lose that game or lose that round. So things starting to look up. As I said, I really just need to 2-star my board. And I also should point out I did get a champion duplicator back there on one of those minion loot rounds. And so for right now, let's go ahead and take out the Yasuo. I'll hold the Yasuo because I might want to play 7 Fated. I don't know. Right now playing 5 Fated is clearly much better. The Shen gives me Behemoth trait for Thresh, also gives me Ghostly trait with the Kayn. Again, I would prefer to replace this with an Ornn long term because Ornn is such a good tank. Really, really good tank unit in this set. Behemoth plus Dryad. That would put Dryad trait in play along with Kindred. Not likely to do much because I'm not really playing through Dryad trait in this game, but you never know. Here's yet another disgusting amount of loot from our Crab portal. And hey, look at this. We managed to get another tier. That's actually really big because it gives Syndra blue buff. So that is excellent. And then she'll get another rod. And then now I can Thief's Glove somebody. And then, oh, okay. 2-star Thresh. That's big. 2 out of 3 Syndras. Okay, I see an Ashe, and I was like, okay, I want to play the Ashe because I'm playing through Aphelios here. We'll pick up the extra Threshes. Remember, we are trying to 3-star that. Oh, we hit 2-star Syndra. Okay. I'm also 1 off the Aphelios 2-star. All right, so we'll keep rolling for that. Let's get Kayn off the board. Kayn had more trait synergies in play, but remember, we didn't really care that much about Kayn. The main reason why Kayn mattered was just so he could get Reaper trait in play, but I don't really care about Reaper trait that much. What was Reaper trait doing? The only units that got it were Kayn and Kindred. Those are not the units I'm playing through. Now the units I'm playing through are Syndra and Aphelios and Thresh. So they are the units that I want to empower on my team composition. Syndra's got the blue buff, and she's got a Jeweled Gauntlet, so she's going to be spam casting and critting on her casts. Aphelios has really good AD itemization, and now I have Sniper trait in him for him as well, which means that he's going to deal bonus damage based on how far away the target is. So yeah, this is looking much better. That was a really, really, really good roll down at the start of stage 4. I went from being all 1 stars to now actually having a team. And then look at this, there's a Faded crest available. This is a really big deal because this allows me to play 7 Faded without having to find set. It also makes 2-star Kindred, which is kind of nice. But now I can, as I said, now I can play 7 Faded without having to find set, set, who's the 5-cost unit. So I will take out the, I'm going to take out the Shen. I don't need to play Shen at the moment. And I decided as soon as this happened, I was like, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to go level 8. And I'm going to roll for my 3 stars on level 8. Because it is going to be a really big spike to put Ornn on my board. My biggest weakness right now is my front line is subpar. It's not very good at the moment. I have the Thresh, but Thresh is only 2-star. He does not have Behemoth trait in play, which gives him extra armor and magic resistance. And the only other tank unit is Yasuo, who's a 1-cost unit who really doesn't have tank traits at all. So my front line is very sketchy right now. I do have a little bit of help in the fact that I have that Martyr trait from early in the game, or Martyr Augment, which means that every time units die, my team heals. It's a big deal in a situation like this where my front line is kind of sketchy because every time units die, they keep healing Aphelios, keep healing Syndra. It's also allowed me to skip out on having to itemize any healing on these units. Like I don't need to waste time on a Gunblade. I don't need like a Bloodthirster or something. They'll just keep healing from Martyr Augment. So I do have some help there, but what I really need is just more frontline. Now, going to level 8 will lower my odds of hitting the 3-cost units. Right now, my odds to hit the 3-cost units are 40%. 40%, and level 7 is the best place to reroll for 3 costs. But if I go level 8 and I play an additional unit, which again I hope will be Ornn, I still have decent odds. It goes from 40% to 33%. By the way, here, going to get a magnetic remover with infinite uses. You should pretty much always take this. The alternative is 5 gold, which is like whatever. The infinite uses of the item remover is much better. Because right here, what it's going to let me do is it's going to let me put this Thieves Glove on Kindred, and then as soon as I find a frontliner on level 8, I can just pop the Thieves Glove off Kindred and put it right onto them. And ideally, that's going to be Ornn. So hopefully I can find an Ornn, put Behemoth trait in play, put Dryad trait in play, and then also have frontline that doesn't completely suck. So that's the goal there. But yeah, we're going to reroll on level 8 instead of level 7. It's a little unorthodox to do that, but I just feel like my team gets so much stronger by being at level 8 and playing Ornn as opposed to staying on level 7 and not having that unit on the board. Alternatively, I could take Faded trait down to Faded 5, but it is actually a pretty big spike to have Faded 7 in. Again, you're tripling the benefit instead of doubling it. So right now I'm getting, It's 18 armor and magic resistance that goes to the entire team from Thresh. So triple that is, 56 as opposed to 36? 54 as opposed to 36? A pretty nice benefit. And then also the AD that we're getting from Aphelios, we're getting 25 base, and then that triples to 75. So yeah, 75 AD for the whole team. That's a pretty big benefit to be getting there. Now, there actually is an Ornn on this carousel with a good tank item with a belt, so I would love to get that. Now, that does mean I'm not going to be able to get any of the 5 costs on here. So, like, Hui's going to get snapped up. There is a Lysandra on here, but I don't, and she gets snapped up as well, so I never have a chance at either of those. And even though it would be nice to get another AP item for Syndra, like if I could get Death Cap here, that would be really nice. I think I'd prefer getting this Ornn with the belt because, as I said, now I can just level and play the Ornn and even make a Sunfire Cape. I'd actually grab Malphite for like a temporary. I might need this temporary unit for frontline to get Behemoth trait in play, but nope, we'll just go ahead and do this. Now we've got Ornn in play. Let's go ahead and do exactly what I said. Use that item remover to pop off the Thief's Glove. We'll put that on Ornn, so Ornn will roll some kind of items. And now my frontline is way better. Like way better. Also, I'm sitting on 5 Threshes, so with the duplicator, I only need to find 3 more technically. It's gonna, as I said, it's gonna be a little harder to find them here because the odds did go down. Actually, it's 32%. I thought it was 33% odds to hit 3 costs on level 8. It's actually 32%. Okay, so that actually is a pretty big decrease in the odds from 40% to 32%. But I still stand by this play. I think that just getting the Ornn on my board makes me so much stronger in the short run. It does mean it's going to take longer to hit these units, but as I said, I just feel like my board spiked really hard by getting that unit in, so I do not regret making this decision. And as you can see by the fact that this game went on YouTube, it worked out pretty well. Even if I would not end up hitting these units in the long run, just spiking my board here in the mid-game and putting pressure on the rest of the lobby is pretty valuable in and of itself. Plus, see, I get another Ornn there. That's the other benefit. I do have better odds to hit the 4-cost units, so I have better odds to find more Ornns, and I also have better odds to find Set. Like, the odds are only 1% to find Set on level 7. They're 3% here on level 8. Again, still not good, but 3% is triple 1%, so I have much better odds to find him. If I can find Set, then I would just take the Yasuo off my board and play Set, because it's just going to be a much better unit. But yeah, I'm content to stay here. Remember, I do still have the duplicator, so with the duplicator, it's not impossible to 3-star some of these units. So we're going to stay here. We're going to try to stay over 50 gold, try to slow roll here, but I think my board is pretty good for this point in time in the game. I have 2-starred all my key units. I've got Fated 7 in play, which, as I mentioned, is pretty strong. Aphelios has really good items. Syndra has very good items, and Thresh's items are not bad either. Plus, I've got Ornn making more items for the rest of the team, and then my augments are not bad either. As I said, I'm getting the benefit from Know Your Enemy in most of these rounds. Most teams have at least one of these traits on their board. And then I've got the Martyr for the additional healing, and then the Faded Crest was really big because it let me get 7 Faded in. I would only have 5 Faded in without that because I have not found the Set yet, and I'm probably not going to find him unless I can get to level 9. I have to get lucky. So we're just going to start slow rolling here and hope that we can find more Aphelioses and find more Threshes. That's the hope anyway. All right, and of course I can also find more Ashes. That's right, more Ashes and more Ornns. Yeah, I have much better odds to find Ash and Ornn. Lower odds to find more Threshes, lower odds to find more Aphelioses, but better odds to find Ash and better odds to find the Ornn. So that is the hope right there. And I did actually win every round in that stage. That was really nice. I felt like my game was a little bit adrift going into this, but it kind of stabilized really hard here on stage 4 because I was able to hit all my key units because I am playing something that's pretty uncontested. Now here I'm going to end up getting some nice stuff. And by the way, that's actually 4 Syndras. We might as well grab extra Syndras because why not? I'm going to make Steadfast Heart on Thresh, which is one of the best tank items. And then I was hoping to finish itemizing this Syndra. None of this stuff is that great. I'm going to go ahead and take the tier, which is not what I want here. I can make Archangels. Would have much preferred a Death Cap here, but that's not an option, and the other stuff is worse off. So we'll just take that and go from there. I mean, I guess I could have made like Ionic Spark and then popped it off. And oh, by the way, there's a Set, so that's good. We'll definitely play that Set over the Yasuo, so we can do that. Set's just a much better unit. And I'm just going to continue slow rolling here. I'm not going to roll for Kindred. I don't think I'm going to hit Kindred 3-star. The odds are even lower to hit the 2-cost unit, so that seems unlikely that I would be able to hit that. But what are we on? 5 Threshes and 4 Aphelioses right now. And Set, as I said, is just a much better unit than the Yasuo. So he'll have the chance to pick units up and pile drive them and you know, get that kind of wild card benefit. Also, he will stack up over time, so it's good to hit him early because Set's ability stacks. He gains AD over time. Every at the start of every round, he does like push-ups and gets a little bit stronger based on the health of the unit standing next to him. So he's going to keep getting stronger over time, and getting him in early is definitely a big benefit. So if I can get one more unit to play, I could even, you know, honestly, if I could play one more unit, it would probably be a Mumu here, because he'd give me Porcelain and Warden traits. And by the way, Lysandra would be a great unit to play too. But I don't see how I can get her on the board. I'd have to give up 7 Faded to do that, and I don't really want to do that. Maybe on level 9, but I'm not going to go to level 9 for a while, so there's no point in just holding Lysandra's. So we'll just keep rolling here, and hey, Ornn 2-star, that's a pretty big hit. Our front line's starting to look pretty good here. As we said, we've got now up to 6 Threshes, 5 Aphelioses. As I said, I've been checking the lobby periodically just to make sure no one's trying to reroll for these units, and no one is. No one else is playing Thresh, no one else is playing Aphelios. If someone was playing one of these units, then what I would do is I would just rush to level 9 and slot in more legendaries, because it would be too hard to hit the 3 stars. But if no one's playing them, I actually think that I can actually hit these. By the way, this is the person who's playing Duelist. Remember the Duelist crest from early in the game? I was thinking about playing Duelist. Yeah, their board did not hold up that well. They are trying to hit 3 stars, some of their 3 stars, and they didn't quite manage to do it yet. I'm also checking in on the win streaking player, and that win streaking player is a Zoe 3-star, which is kind of interesting. Zoe has not typically been played as a carry in this set, but she's not bad if you 3-star her, definitely. And then this person is going to. This is the person I'm probably most worried about. They're only on 26 HP. Doc Walk. as I hit 2-star Ash there. They're only on 26 HP, but their board actually does look pretty strong. They've got a what is it? They've got a 2-star Hui over there, and then they're already level 9, and they're just slotting in legendaries, and they have a an altruist emblem, so I think they have 3 altruist in. They're trying to get 4 altruists, so they're just getting lots and lots of stats, and then playing the 5-cost units. So that board's going to be a problem. I already know that's going to be a bit of an issue there. And anyway, yes, I am not trying to repair my units. I just wanted to slot the Aphelios over to the left-hand side because I could see I was probably going to hit the Zoe board, and I wanted to be as far away from Zoe as possible. I'm not an expert on Zoe's targeting, but I figure that she will probably hit units closer to her first. So anyway, my front line's going to die here. The Thresh goes down. But now can we chew our way through the back line? Syndra, you got me here. Syndra, she falls. And Aphelios, ooh, look at that. Just barely clutches this out. The Aphelios and the Syndra dual carries here. And that's really big to end that person's win streak because they're out of econ right now. They're level 80 gold. So yeah. And the longer this win streak continues, the better it is because it allows me to just sit here and keep slow rolling, slow rolling, slow rolling, slow rolling. Very good stuff. I'm happy to just continue slow rolling here. All right, anyway, so now what I'm looking for is items either for Set or for Ash, and there does not appear to be any Ash items here. So I would be happy to take an item that can go onto Set. I would have liked the Bloodthirster. That actually gets grabbed. So I was like, okay, that's not a possibility. But you know what I can do? I can take an item that goes on Thresh. Remember, I have an infinite use item remover. So what I can do is I can take something that goes on Thresh. Then I can take that Titan's Resolve, which is on Thresh, and put it on Set. Because the Titans is not bad on Thresh, but it's a better item for Set overall. So well, I actually wanted to get rid of the limited use magnetic remover because there's no point in having it on my bench. So there we go. Titans on Set, and like the real tank items going on the Thresh. By the way, there's another Ari, and I've been seeing multiple Lissandras, so really wish I could get that Lissandra on the board. That would certainly be nice, but no, can't really seem to do that. And that was a bit of an unfortunate roll down. The only thing we found was an Ari, 1 star, so I'll just keep rolling, and okay. Did sell the Cinder, just wanted to get a little bit of gold. Maybe getting a little bit impatient there. I've been trying to be patient here. And not get not like feel that I need to cut into my income by going below 50 gold. But I do ultimately get around to this person. This is the person I was mentioning before, Doc Walk. I think this person has this pretty clearly the strongest comp in the lobby, 2-star Hui, and then they also have a 2-star Udyr back there. About the one mistake they made is they put the Altruist emblem on Hui. They definitely should not have done that. You really just want to put Altruist emblems on synergy bots. Putting the Altruist emblem on a unit that's like a carry unit, like Hui is, that just wasted a slot that could have been used for a real item. So I do unfortunately lose that round, and again, I'm not shocked. I think I'm going to need 3 stars to be able to beat that board. So that's not going to happen until I can 3-star the Thresh, 3-star the Aphelios. But we're making progress there. 6 Threshes, 6 Aphelioses, so I will continue to be patient here. I need 3 more of each, and I do still have the Champion Duplicator, so I am hoping I can hit the remaining copies of each. That's my hope. I think 3-star versions of both would be pretty strong in this lobby. You can see this other person who I just lost to said, Infinite Remover thing is broken, can move items around forever. It is. It's really good in particular for people who are like trying to fast 9 because you can just move the items around as you hit like 2-star versions of your 5 costs. So it's pretty nice in that regard. Instead, I'm up against this Porcelain board. They have like they've been rerolling for Lux 3-star, which is kind of wonky. Apparently, people like to go for we're going for Lux 3-star with the Double Trouble augment, or the one where you get the big bonus for playing 2 copies of a unit. And by the way, look again how close this fight is, but we are able to win. They're probably going to hit the 3-star Lux, but I don't know how strong that really is. Although maybe it is. They're still alive in this lobby, and that's more than can be said for most of the other players. So yeah. I will continue rolling. There is a Thresh number 7. Getting close here. Getting close. And there's a Aphelios number 7. So I am 2 off of each of these. And then I do have the duplicator. So again, really hoping I can find the remaining copies of these. If I could get to level 9, as I said, I think the unit to play would actually be a Mumu for Porcelain plus Warden trait. Or just some random legendary unit would, of course, not be bad either. But I think Mumu is actually the best unit to play. All right, there's another Ash. I mean, I was like, okay, I guess I'll hold on to that. And then look at this. 2 complete item anvils here. Again, Scuttle Crab is so much loot. It's just ridiculous. Not as much as Crab Rave, but still really, really ridiculous. Crab Raves, you get 3 completed item anvils. All right, so I'm going to roll, and that is 8 Thrushes. Keep rolling here. All right, well, that's already 2-star. We might as well. We're going to play that on the board. And there is Thresh 3-star. There's another Ash. And then I'm rolling here, and I actually miscount. I thought I was on 7 Aphelioses, or 8 Aphelioses. I was actually on 7, and I was like, oh, crud, I used the duplicator too early. Well, now I've got to roll down and hit this unit. There's 6 ashes, by the way. And fortunately, I do hit that, so I'm not punished for misusing the duplicator, so oops. Alrighty, now I was trying to get items for set here. I was trying to get another set item. Nothing here is really that good for set, though, so I was like, Alright, I'll go ahead and take the Edge of Night, and then there is a Titans here, so I go ahead and take that. I also could have taken items for Ash, but there weren't really any good Ash items there either. I guess there was an Infinity Edge for the second Anvil pull there. That first emblem, though, or first Anvil really had, like, nothing. Well, anyway, now this is a really, really close fight. I'm up against this other player, and it's Center versus Ash, but fortunately Ash gets the Fated bonuses, and that's enough, and we actually knocked that player out of the lobby in an incredibly close fight. Just 1 unit left standing. I was very glad to get that person out of the lobby. Anyway, in the other battle right there, it turns out that that person, Doc Walk, actually loses, which is surprising to me. I thought that they were going to win that round, but they actually do lose and get knocked down to just, 10 HP? So that they only have 1 life remaining. Now I want to get to level 9 so I can play another unit. So I can probably get there a little bit after the carousel that's upcoming. So that is my hope. In particular, I want to get a Warden unit in, if nothing else. But yeah, so anyway, I'm looking at this other board right now. I'm concerned about the 2-star Ornn, the 2-star Wukong, the 2-star Hui, the 2-star Udyr, all those units very strong. So I'm hoping I can get a good fight here. But I actually do not think that I probably win this round. It's going to be close, but my impression was that I would probably lose this. I was hoping that maybe Set could get off a good pile driver. So let's see if he can manage to get one off. He is in fact going to grab the... which unit was that? He did actually get one off that was pretty good before he died there, but my whole front line is basically dead at this point. At least we got the Udyr as well. So now Thresh goes down. It's just the Syndra and the Aphelios. Aphelios is going to pop the left side of the board. Now it's just the Syndra. Now it's just the Aphelios. So I was like, all right, well, I definitely don't win this, do I? You got me, Aphelios? You got me? Come on, Aphelios! Aphelios! Oh, Aphelios has got it. Yeah, and this other person's like, bruh. So I'm just going to type close. Yeah, I really did not think I was going to win that round. I actually thought that other person was going to beat me. Yeah, just barely clutched it out. Aphelios did 17,000 damage. The difference in that fight was having Know Your Enemy in, because fortunately that team had Behemoth trait. And that meant I was doing 15% increased damage instead of 10% damage. And that was the difference in that fight. It was an incredibly close fight. But Aphelios just barely managed to clutch that out. Fortunately, he was untouched in the fight until the very end. Now, this other board that's left, this is the Porcelain board. I do not think this board is anywhere near as good as the board that I just beat. But I need to position correctly for this fight. And I want to make sure that Set can get a pile driver off on that Alawi, that's the unit I really want to try to get that off, but Set's going to get knocked up in the air, and oh, he actually gets popped mid-animation on his pile driver. He is not going to get that off. So my front line has not done its job in this fight. Thresh also got thrown backwards, so he is not tanking for the team the way that he's supposed to do. And my team is starting to fall apart because Aphelios dies way too quickly in this fight, and I was like, okay, this fight didn't go very well, but I think it was kind of bad RNG in this fight, or maybe I just need to position a little bit better, because I think my board is actually quite a bit stronger than that one, but just that fight kind of fell apart pretty quickly. So let's reassess. Let's see if we can put together a stronger setup here. I'm looking at what's available, and I was like, you know what? There's not a ton that I really need here, but let's go ahead and take this Deathblade. We'll put it on Ash. She is a 2-star unit with Sniper trait in. That's going to be pretty decent, I think. I don't need like another Last Whisper. Mythic Emblem's not going to do anything. So I'll go ahead and put this on Ash. And I do have this infinite item remover. I was like, you know what? The set is not really using the Edge of Night. Let's put that on Ash because she's going to survive long enough to do more damage. I will hold here. If I lose this round, then I will probably try to level to 9 and put in another unit. But I think that I can still hold for the time being. I still have 29 HP. I can absorb another loss. But I want to reposition better than this. Again, I want to make sure that Lux is not targeting against any of my key units. Lux targets the opposite corner, so we'll put Ari over there as Lux bait to get hit by Lux's bindings. I'm going to slide Set all the way over to the right, so now Set will hopefully avoid early aggression. I want Set to get this pile driver off on the Alawi. If he does that, then he's done his job. So is he going to be able to get it off? This time he does, and that makes a huge difference in terms of hitting the rest of the board. Lux is throwing her ult at Ari, which is a total waste. Ari is, completely useless on my board. So Thresh is still alive, Syndra is still alive, Aphelios is still alive, all my key units are still alive. And this time the fight's going to play out very differently. And I'm going to go ahead and take this fight to win the lobby and take a pretty clean first place finish there. So yeah, this was a Fated game. I'm pretty happy with how this one came together. As I said, I was not planning on playing Fated in this lobby. I was just scouting around and seeing what was uncontested. And since I did get the early Aphelios, it proved to be uncontested, and I was able to put the board together. Got a little bit lucky in that round against the player with all the legendary units. As I said, I think my board was definitely weaker in terms of quality than in that fight, but got a good fight RNG and just barely clutched it out. And they were almost dead in the lobby, so sometimes you need to get a little bit lucky, and I think I did here. All right, well, anyway, thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. Did enjoy this game more than some of the other ones in this set, but we'll see how much more I end up playing. Until next time, hope everybody's having a great week. Take care, folks, and I'll see you again soon.